Town Council meeting. Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Get a flag in front of us. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll for us, Carmen.
Jeff Smotherland.
Here.
Laura Arnberg. Here. Ralph Clark.
Here.
Tom Williams.
Here.
Connie Williams. Winesapple.
Here. Thank you very much. All right, first up, we'll have the approval of the minutes for 4/18/2025 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make motion.
Motion second? Second. Second. Any discussion, questions, changes? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, report of department heads. We'll start. Mr. Williams, do you want to start us?
Sure. All right, trails and parks. A lot of action on the trail. Work on the trails is going well. Jonathan got dirt on the 2 bald cypress roots that were exposed pretty dramatically, so we feel good about that. Terry spent all day Monday doing an excellent job of grooming and prepping the worst areas for rock delivery. We'll be looking at that Motzer quote later. Burr Oak has started on the removal of the huge tree that fell across the trail on behind the Athenaeum. And there's been a light reported out at Murphy Park. I talked to the electrician today. He's hoping by the end of the week he can get that replaced. He's the same guy that's going to do work at the sewer plant, I guess. Just waiting for parts. And then over at the cemetery, Jonathan and crew worked on the big fallen tree. It's been difficult spring to get to without scarring up the works over there, leaving deep trail. But they're planning to get back to it real soon. It looks a lot better. I encourage them to try to get to it before this weekend. We'll see. It depends how other things go. American Eagle has finally got into town, and they have removed the contracted hazard trees. I think there was 5 of them. Most of them had hollow centers, so it felt good to get them down before they fell. They're due back before the end of the week to complete their contract doing the trimming and thinning out of other trees that need it.
They'll be grinding stumps.
Yes, and they'll be grinding the stumps.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've asked that a few times.
Yeah, that's always, that's a separate thing, and they have to get approval as far as underlying pipes and electrical lines possibly. But that'll all get done as well. And last but not least, the online reservations for Murphy Park camping are really working. The Parks Board's very pleased about that. The Parks Board's also looking at a plan for the bathroom building finally. We've kind of put it off going through this 5-year comprehensive parks plan, but Parks Board member Jim Reese has drawn up some plans and is having them checked out. The idea of perhaps being that we use half of the garage side of that building to convert to a family restroom with ADA access. And it looks doable.
That's a good idea.
And I'm excited about that possibility.
My turn. I got a couple things. It's a busy month. I had a good meeting with the Evansville Regional Economic Development Partnership. They've been helping us on several fronts, but they're doing an arts and culture regional plan right now for all of Southwest Indiana. So they sent me a email asking kind of what our needs are, and obviously with our economy being so based in the arts and tourism, been trying to engage with that. Had a good meeting with the Posey County Community Foundation. There are some new endowments coming up that may benefit our community, so I wanted to meet with them about that. Also wanted to announce, because I know a lot of you are with other groups, the Community Goods Grant Cycle is open now. It's open through August 24th. They give towards arts and culture, community development, education, health, human services, civic endeavors, so it's pretty broad. The grants are generally between $5,000 and $15,000, and they would love to see more applications from New Harmony. We get some here, but we had a good meeting just to talk about all the things going on in town and just to make sure they were aware of what we're doing in case there's any other opportunities that would match for us that come up, so that was productive. And then I went to the Indiana University Center for Rural Development, I think that's right, conference, which I really didn't know much about what they do, and it was really exciting. They have about 10 people on staff at IU that do strictly outreach to rural communities. So they will match you up with landscape architects, the IU School of Music, artist residency programs, health programs. I mean, it was huge. It was a 2-day conference about all the things they can offer. And we have not engaged with them in the past that I know of, at least not on any regular basis. So that was great. We found out about a bunch of opportunities. I met a bunch of people who love New Harmony, said they'd love to bring students here, professors, programming. So I'm really excited about following up on all of those. Also found out about another grant I wanted to let everybody know about at that conference. This one's from the Lilly Endowment. They have allocated half of this money just to rural communities, and they're having trouble giving it away. So they wanted to get the word out. It's their Communities and Congregations grant, and I'll find a way maybe to even post this on the website, the town website. But it's to match up community programs like the food bank, or they'll do arts and culture, they'll do all sorts of things. But you have to have a church you're partnered with. So it's a community group and a church. But they're asking people to apply for this program because they're having trouble allocating funds. So again, any of your organizations that are have projects that are ready to go. And then IHCDA was there as well with the patronicity grants, which we've talked about before, but that's where they help you set up a crowdfunding website, and then the state will match what you raise up to $50,000. We've never applied for that one either. So I'm hoping as we get the comp plan done and the financial plan done that we can identify the projects the community wants to do and start applying for some of these dollars, because there's actually still a lot out there. The trailer on East Street that we had agreed with the gentleman, if he removed it, that we would work with him on the liens on the property did get taken out. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that did get done. I'm sure you may have seen it as well. And then the big thing for tonight, I wanted, hopefully that everybody's ready to vote on, is which platform to use for the town website moving forward. Our current provider has been doing it for years, and she does a great job and is very affordable. We've had a couple security issues though, so we switched over to the state email system and the state domain server, that there's just some things that aren't communicating real well, and we are eligible for the state free website program. So we would have all the security protocols handled by the state of Indiana, and it's free. So my recommendation at this point is that we switch to that program, and then I would take over that process, which our website's not incredibly complicated, but because we have added a lot of new functionalities, the online ordinances, the rentals in Murphy Park, but those are all third-party vendors, so it won't change any of that. This is just the hosting of our website. So I don't know.
Can we amend to add that, to make a vote on the website choice?
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda.
If everyone agrees.
Motion for amendment to the agenda to add
I'll make that motion.
in a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now make your motion.
So my motion is that after researching several options, that I think we should move our town website to the free state hosting system with the state of Indiana.
Is that through that Tyler company, or are they the ones that do it?
Yeah, so the state
They're the
subcontracts with
subcontractor to
Tyler.
the state.
Let's discuss that. We get a second.
I'm
To the
sorry.
motion. That's a
Sorry.
second. Second.
Who? I'll second.
And a
Did you second?
Motion and a second.
We'll
Now,
all second.
Sorry.
now discussion. Go ahead.
I've already asked
Your
my
answer.
question.
And I know you've been working with Ann and
Yeah.
everybody on this, so they're all good.
Yeah, and we will still try to get I know the big goal for a lot of people is getting the utility payments online, but that will be another subcontractor. This is not gonna, I researched everything up to like Civic Plus is kind of the gold standard, and they even don't do utility billing in-house. It's always a third party, so I think for what we need for our site, this is probably the easiest and safest thing to do.
We have had discussions about what are the first things that need to go on, and we have the option of 4 forms that you will be able to fill out on their site that won't cost us anything. So, applications for building permits, probably tree concerns. We have a form that you come in and fill out. Probably golf cart registration is another one, and then the 4th one is kind of up in the air. We aren't sure.
Maybe event permits or
Maybe
things along those
events,
lines.
you know,
Yeah.
those are the ones that take the most time probably in terms of in office here. And it would be really great if, like, the building permits can be distributed online to the, you know, the plan commission members, and that would be wonderful. So,
Any other questions? Thank you. All right, all in favor? Aye.
aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Lauren, for that.
Yeah.
Is that all you had on your side?
That's
Okay. Okay, I've got a little list here, but, one town marshal, we're looking at relocating our town marshal. I don't know if he's out there or not, but upon all of our requests and thoughts, we're looking at moving our town marshal's office down to the other equipment building down by Kester's property and USI's property. And he's volunteered to even do some of the work to update the office. There is an office down there that's heated and cooled with water and stuff, needs a little TLC, but we think that's what we're going to do. I don't think we had to vote on it, but I just wanted to bring everybody up. Did you want to elaborate anything on that, Marshall? Okay. Good. Well, don't go off. Don't go away. I probably have some more things for you here. We're going to start cracking down or working harder on our end and the marshal's end who help us enforce stuff on abandoned vehicles. I know you've probably heard this till you're blue in the face about things like that. But we're working on the ordinances. We're trying to put fines together for things that he can do, a letter to send out prior. We're trying to do it all the right way legally. Our attorney is going to help us with that as well. So that is in the process. So get your yards cut and haul off all your vehicles and stuff. But we're looking forward to cleaning up some things in some areas. Of course, as you mentioned, a couple trailers are gone. One by bad circumstances, but we have a couple trailers gone. There's some lots down in that area that need some attention as well. Abandoned vehicles all over town. So just know we're going to start focusing on that a little harder. And some of that ordinances, things, we're having a special meeting. We got to talk about that as well next month on ordinances for nuisances and fines and fees and stuff like that. So just know that's coming. Let's see, what else did I say? Junk and stuff. Can you, hey, please, Marshall, there's a thing on the mobile breast clinic right out there, I believe, laying on the desk there. Yep. Deaconess Mobile Breast Clinic. Can you read those dates? I'm just supposed to remind each month until that happens.
Monday, June 30th,
Time.
8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And it's usually parked right over here on the corner of Brewery and Church right here. So just be aware of that. These are forms you can take with you for information. They tear off, and then there's posters displayed around town and stuff. So it's a great thing. We thank them for coming and making New Harmony a part of that. To council members and Parks Board, different committees and stuff, the budgeting process is starting, so we're going to have to start putting together some numbers from each group if you can, things you've done this year that you know that you're going to look at next year, possibly public safety, our town marshal and fire department, you know, the street gang and the group, the town stuff. We know we're going to have expenditures, and we're going to try to be a little better on our budgeting. We were new at it, or I was new at it last year, I know, and stuff. So get a little more involved and try to put together some numbers that are more
Realistic.
accurate. Yeah, realistic or accurate for next year. I did want to share, speaking of budget, I was looking at our fund reports. December of 2023, which was right before we came on board, our fund report balance was $3,265,939. And as of May, as of 2025, it's $3,138,962. Difference of 126,000, but I guarantee you the sewer plant ate a bunch of that. But just wanted you to know we haven't spent all your money. We're pretty much on track to where it has been in the history. And we do have a balance with our investment money. That did not include it, so the town has a balance of $4,329,917. So that's a good thing. And I think that's pretty much, we have on the budget, I was gonna say also, the Baker Tilly report is in, which they did a financial study for us. I know Rod may elaborate on that some more, and they're gonna help us with our budgeting, and they've taken all our financial numbers, looking at them, and help us to probably invest some more money into some CDs or wherever the board chooses to go with that, or the clerk treasurer chooses to go with that. So that's my report. Your turn.
Okay, okay. I'm glad Pat Wilson is here tonight because I wanted to just recognize William Wilson Auction Realty. They took up all the flagpoles on Main and Church Street, and they're having those refinished and refurbished in celebration of their 40th anniversary in business in town. So thank you for that. That's nice.
Thank you.
Did you know about it? You look surprised. Okay. Well, Andrew did it, yeah, but on behalf of the business. So, mosquitoes, I wanted to say that we will be spraying Friday or Saturday, depending on the weather. We are also, I am encouraging our staff to go ahead and become certified in application. The state of Indiana dropped that requirement last year, but since there are very strong feelings about fogging in town, I think the least we can do is make sure that our people are certified and know about the chemicals that they're handling and putting out in the air. So they won't have it for this Friday, but they will have it by the 4th of July. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is the street repair, and I know people are upset about that, and so am I. As I mentioned last time, the temperature has to be at a certain level for so many days for the asphalt to attach and stay down. And you can't have rain. So when you look back over the last couple of months and you realize we have replaced water meters, we have cut into the streets all over the place, we've replaced hydrants. It's not surprising to me that they haven't done the repairs. I have been talking to the crew about it, and what I have done is started to reach out to, I put a call into Dyke Brothers because I had talked to them in the past about could we have some kind of contract with them? Would they be able to service our street repairs in a timely way? And they can. So I'm going to go ahead and pursue that and look at what's the difference, because we cannot go this long with these streets the way they are. And I understand that, and I'm sorry. So that's what I'm doing.
And we would have had those done, and we would have added a lot more in the meantime. So
I think they were scheduled to be here like last Monday, but it rained.
We've done
Well,
a lot
it's-
more since
it's-
last week even. So,
Well,
yeah.
that's right. And then you've got the trails and the flooding. I mean, we have 4 staff members. So,
Well, yeah,
you know,
The street repairs have just multiplied beyond our crew being able to do it in a timely manner. I mean, it's just too big right now. in my
well, and it
opinion.
didn't get done last year. And that, so then that was compounded. So
Yeah, anyway, here we
it's bad, and I know it's bad, and I'm sorry. That's it.
Thank you.
I got a few things to talk about on the water side. If you are one of the folks in town that got a water bill for $1 million, you are welcome to go ahead and pay that if you'd like. And then we'll work it out with you in a few months. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but we actually did have a couple of water bills that went out for $1 million. And we acknowledge the issue. Obviously, there were some errors in the data feed from the units. To make a long story short, we're still digging into what happened to 15 or 20 of the bills, but the data feed from the old meters where they used to go out and read them, it looks like it's isolated to the old meters that we have left. And that data feed did not work properly, and we've got somebody coming in tomorrow to help sort it out, and we'll get to the bottom of it. This is part of the reason we're replacing all those meters. I think all of those meters have been replaced in the meantime. So supposedly, hopefully, cross fingers, all this problem will go away in the future because they'll automatically feed into the system. But our apologies for any inconvenience on that, but they're getting to the bottom of it.
Yep.
Obviously, we've had some water breaks, some service line breaks and things that we've had to take care of. That's already been mentioned. We continue to have some issues at the sewer plant, just for everybody's, and I'm not sure everybody up here knows about it, but we had a flooding issue at the plant last Tuesday night, maybe. A sump pump went out down there in the bottom of the plant, and it flooded. And that, unfortunately, the way that plant was wired in, the junction boxes, the electrical junction boxes were about 4 feet off the floor, and there was about 8 feet of water in the basement. So obviously, that was not a good situation. It threw all the pumps out, and we had to have a truck come in and back all the water out, and then we had to have the pump people there. Luckily, when everything dried out, the pumps started back up, and we were okay. But we're going to have some expense. They were down there at about 2:30 in the morning, so it's not going to be a cheap fix, but we got it taken care of. So the sump pump has been replaced. We're watching it closely and making sure that we don't have that problem happening again. When that happened and went down, there was another pump that they found out was bad that was unrelated to these two. So we got it rebuilt and taken care of today. So we're going to have some expense there. One of the kind of the good things, if there could be any good thing out of happening, things like that, you can't figure out where your problems are at once everything else is down. And what it led us to believe is there was an alarm that notified Farrar, who's our operator. There was an alarm, and so he came over. And after we were done, there should have been 2 other alarms that went off prior to the one that went off. I mean, there's a sequence to that if something's going wrong here, it should send an alarm directly to our operator's phone. And then another one, it was the 3rd alarm that let him know. So by the time he got there, we had a flooded basement. The problem was a lot bigger than it should have been. So we are going to have an electrician in to see if we can figure out the problems with all of that electrical and get new alarm systems, put everything, because that's critical. Particularly because he doesn't live here in town, so it takes him 15-20 minutes to get here, so it's critical that we get those fixed. And I kind of consider that emergency repair, so because I asked, well, can you give me an estimate, and he said, man, when he comes in, he won't have any idea what he's into, but while he's here, he's going to fix it. So just FYI, that's what's going to happen there. Last thing, and this has nothing whatsoever to do with the issue that happened the other night, but you'll remember during the flood, I said that the flood was causing us some issues at the plant. And one of those issues was the discharge going to the river didn't seem to be going out the way that it should be. After the flood went down, we went down, inspected that pipe and everything, and turns out that pipe now is full of roots. And we had a company scheduled to come in, and it's a 4-6-inch pipe, 4-6-inch, I think, probably. But it's full of roots, and we're not quite sure whether or not there's damage in there to the pipe or what, but they're coming in. They were supposed to come in 2 weeks ago to take care of that problem, and the river came back up,
so they couldn't get to it. So now the river's back down. They're scheduled to come in next Tuesday and take care of that issue. And so we'll find out whether or not we have, I mean, that could potentially be a fairly big deal. If there's fracture to that pipe, worst case scenario is we've got to dig it up, put in a new pipe, but we'll find out.
So they're scoping that and then
They're
Possible
well, they
rotor-rooter.
they gotta rotor-root it to get the scope up it. So they'll rotor-root it, get all the stuff cleaned out, and then they'll send a camera up and see. Somebody told me, and Tom, I haven't done this, but somebody, I think it was you that told me that the drainage pipe out at the cemetery that we've had problems with, was that needing scope too with a camera?
It was one of the options we were gonna do, so yeah, Jonathan was considering
Okay.
having them do that the same day.
Okay, well, I haven't talked to him, and you and I can follow up with Jonathan. If that's work that's gotta be done, we just will do it while they're here.
Yeah, there's issues with those two drain pipes, but we're also looking at replacing them too,
Okay,
and so,
well, maybe we hold off.
yeah, I mean, they're working now, but, you know, we just had to re-gravel the cemetery because it gets washed off about once a year.
Well, we can talk about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
more later, so. Last thing on the sewer plant, and I've mentioned this before, we have applied with EREP, the Regional Economic Partnership, to file for a grant for us to do a study on the entirety of the sewer plant, on upgrades that we may need to make. You know, that plant's 25, 30 years old now, and there may need to be some pretty, you know, we've been doing a lot of repairs and fixing things, and there may be, so the grant will pay for 90% of the study, and then we'll have to put up, guesstimate that study will probably cost $90,000, so, you know, ended up costing us $10,000. But then we'll have, you know, a plan for the future of that plant, what needs to be done, so on and so forth. So we're working on that.
probably not just repairs, but modernization as well.
Yeah, some modernization, some efficiency issues, you know,
Possibly.
and just, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. You know, like this issue going out to the river. Okay, well, you know, if the river gets to a certain height, apparently that plant was planned to a certain flood level, and, you know, okay, maybe the floods are higher now than they used to be. So just a comprehensive study by an engineering firm to come in and say, you know, okay, here's probably recommendations on what may or may need not to be done. And then, of course, we'll decide what to do later. But
Well, and that would help us financially plan for whatever needs
That
to
is
be done.
correct.
That's the big thing.
yeah, then we can, and speaking of financial plans, Jeff already mentioned this, Baker Tilly's coming on June 3rd. Everybody, did everybody see that I sent out to you their final draft? And they're going to be here on June 3rd to go over that plan with us. Ann and I sit in with them on an initial Zoom meeting with them where they just want to sit down with us, go, okay, is this what you're expecting, and blah, blah, blah. And there were a couple of things we asked them to tweak, and they made those changes. So you've all got the final draft, and they're wanting to come on June 3rd. The question is, she's coming down from Indianapolis, and she said she'd like to come down and back the same day, which means probably midday. But I talked to her yesterday, and I said, well, we're having the meeting tonight. I'll have everybody in the same room so we can decide on her time. What's your pleasure? Do you want to do like a 1 o'clock or an 11 o'clock? She's an hour ahead of us, so,
Do 11,
Yeah, let's do
or
it.
maybe if everybody can.
I'll have to Zoom, I'll be out of town. but I
Okay.
can Zoom.
so would you like for me to
11,
tell her 11 o'clock?
Fine with me, yeah.
Can you be there? What day of the week is June 3rd?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, then I will tell her 11 o'clock. And then
Central, 11 Central.
11 Central. And then I had asked Jeff, we've been trying to get together and talk about this ordinance update, and I've gone through it, and I've got a lot of things that we just need to take a meeting besides our regular meeting like this to go through a bunch of them and talk about them. And, you know, I've kind of started, well, here's what I would suggest, but okay, y'all need to be able to think about it and make suggestions. So I wondered if around that, this may be almost an all-day meeting, but if we could meet, you know, earlier in the morning and meet all morning about ordinances, then take a break, probably be a time, take a break by then. And do that, and then if we want to get together more in the afternoon, we can, or whatever. So,
I'm fine with that.
you're in town, Jeff said.
Mhm.
Laura, I know you will be out of town, but man, trying to find a time because,
We're all here.
you know, Connie will be leaving soon, Jeff's going on vacation. That may be the only date that we can kind of roll up our
Let's do,
sleeves.
what time do you want to start?
You want to do 8 a.m.? These will be special meetings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to advertise it as special
Public-
meetings
special
with,
public
with the
meeting.
subject, you know, stated, so.
Ordinances at 8 in the morning.
Maybe 8:30.
8:30.
We'll have donuts and coffee, man.
Maybe
Find
8:30.
Rod and I at the old town hall.
Okay, and then we could look at, so we would roll right in at
And then
11
we'll
with Baker
start at
Tilly,
8:30 and then Baker Tilly, whenever they arrive, we can,
and that
now,
meeting
since
with-
it's advertised, we'll have to probably wait until 11 o'clock to do her session in case there's somebody who wants to come for that. And then maybe then we say 1 o'clock till,
we need to quit.
well, do we have
Till
to
we get
advertise
tired.
it as a, or do we just have to say starting at 1? Good. Okay,
Okay. All right, so we're good with that. June
8:30.
thank you.
8:30, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one last thing that just got brought up, speaking to Jonathan, you know, we're talking about these abandoned vehicles and starting to tag these vehicles and stuff. We need to wait till Ann gets back because the ordinance reads that there has to be a special fund set up. We have to move funds into that special fund to pay for the towing and everything. And then once they come get it, or any sale of the
We get
vehicles, then the towing
reimbursement.
company
Yeah.
reimburses us. But we have to have special funds set up for that, so.
Yeah.
I would recommend we just, let's give everybody a couple of weeks warning here and then we'll get that fund
Well,
set
and the
up when she
good
gets
thing
back.
is the letters, you know, I think that's a great
Yeah.
move to send them letters out first and then tag the vehicles or whatever too as well. So there's plenty of notifications, so thank you.
That is all I have, thank you.
Okay, moving on, let's see, open forum. Time for open forum, a chance for you to get up and speak on anything you'd like to speak on. If you'd come up here where we can hear you and give us your name and try to limit it to about 10 seconds or something. I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute, it was.
I know, I'm kidding.
I'm Martha Rasky. Is this close enough?
That's fine.
Okay. I want to speak on support of the town, New Harmony's comprehensive plan. I have read the plan. I've attended as many public meetings as I was able to. The plan addresses our housing, transportation, utility infrastructure, recreation and cultural assets, and economic development. These are all key factors to ensure we are good stewards for the future of this community, such a very vital and important part of Indiana. The plan is, as it should be, intentional and aspirational. So we don't have to do everything it says, but we could aspire to do the things that are in there, including a clear plan for future action and optional recommendations. It is beautifully written, and I want to speak on behalf of it. And we have to aspire for change, because that's what's kept us vital for so many years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm Alan Blaylock. I'm here representing Masonic Lodge. You spoke of the water bills earlier. Does the same go for the gas bills? Are you checking on those also?
Gas is fine.
Yeah, the gas has been
to my
fine,
knowledge.
as far as I know.
The Masonic Lodge received a gas bill that's 20 times higher than normal this time of year.
That's the first one we've
And I
heard
came in
of.
and talked to the clerk, assistant clerk yesterday.
Okay,
That's the
Yeah.
I
first,
didn't know, that's the first one I've heard
Okay.
about, so,
But this time of year, it's normally real low, and it's about 20 times
all
higher.
right, we'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeannie?
Say, I'm glad Mr. Blaylock followed Dr. Rasky. I was kind of sweating that. So at any rate, I'm Jeannie Modlin. I'm the president of the Parks and the Trail Board, and I'm here with some good news. So I want to recognize our new online camping registration program. So when we were told that last year funds collected was in the amount of $200. So We rolled this program out. It went live on April 6th. And since then, we have collected $887.10. So it's a huge success. Not only are we, getting funds, additionally, we have a level of safety there because everyone, and I understand there was trepidation about park camping, I get it. But there is a level of safety. We have license plate numbers, we've got credit card numbers, we've got names, we've got addresses. So if anything, if there is ever an issue, we know where to find you. So, or them, whatever. So I wanted to share that. I also want to recognize publicly the driving force behind this program, and that is our Parks Board member, Andy Batt. I cannot even say how many hours Andy spent researching and then setting up the program and then educating the 4 of us, the 5 of us, and then coming in to make the presentation to you all, which, by the way, this also wouldn't have happened had you all not seen the vision with this, gotten on board, and approved it to come into use. Additionally, couldn't have done it without our town clerk's help. And finally, I just need to do a shout out to our town board liaison, Tom Williams. Now here's the deal, this board is active, it's energized, we have a lot of vision, and we are always at our meetings, push, push, push. When's the gravel gonna get done? When's the mowing gonna get done? When's this gonna get done? And Tom, with his wonderful patience and kindness, always kind of puts his hand on our shoulders and says, now Jeannie, now Andy, don't worry, this will get done, it's in queue. So at any rate, thanks to all of you, and this program is an utter success. We've had 15 separate reservations thus far. Once again, $887.10, and that was as of today, because we got some in today.
Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm David Bondage there, and I kind of hate to do this.
David, come up front for the
Come up
mic.
here so we.
That's the main reason, so people listening in can hear you.
I've got an ask, and it's this time of year, every year, mowing in the park. It's really, it just can't get done. The guys are busy doing all the stuff you guys talked about, right? So my ask is maybe do we need to look at something different, say mid-April to mid-June, contracting somebody maybe to mow the parks or something. It's not a high priority, but I live across the street from it, so I look at it every day. And I know people come to town a lot of times to go to the park. It's that high right now. So that's my ask. Okay, can we try to figure out something?
I will just say this, and I know we're not supposed to talk during forum, but I have talked with the guys, and they approached me about a summer person, add-on help, just focused on that too. So it's something we could consider, I would think, definitely to look at a summer helper.
It'd be a great idea.
A high school student or something.
Okay, and one other thing, Tom, I know the people out at the cemetery don't complain much. But getting gravel there now was a great idea, and we've needed gravel there for a long time, so thanks for getting that.
Well, I can't take credit for that, actually. Jonathan, whoever took it upon himself, knowing that it's a yearly situation.
Yeah,
And,
so it's good.
They did a nice job.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Am I supposed to speak here?
Yes.
Yeah, you're fine.
And who are you?
I'm Audra Lambert. I wasn't going to say anything, but I have a neighbor that has mobility issues, and I don't want to say names here just in order to protect their confidentiality, but they also had an extraordinarily high amount for their gas. They have a hard time with making it around town. So I think it was $1,000, and I spoke with them at length about it. I was spoken to at length about it yesterday. So while I haven't experienced any issues, and I wasn't going to say anything because you said something, so also thank you for saying something. And it is hard for them to navigate around, and they were trying to get a ride here to talk with you about that. So I just want to make you aware because I have that information that you also have that. It's not my bill.
But we will need an address so we can investigate it.
Is there a
And
way
you
to
don't have to
tell
do
you
it right now.
outside
You
of
don't.
confidentiality?
That's fine.
Yeah, you can do it.
Name
tomorrow when the lady comes to help with all the situation, we can look
Okay.
into it.
Okay, do you want if I give you an address after?
Yes, just an
Yeah,
address,
that's all.
yeah.
Okay,
Lovely.
thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna stand here.
They won't be able to hear you.
Where's Jonathan? There you are. People are driving, well, I don't know if they're reckless, but they're fast down Church Street. They are ripping. There's a couple of, well, there's one car, I think it's a black car, who speeds, I mean, and revs, and it's just so obnoxious and dangerous. So I would like to suggest doing some radar. I know you told me only one direction, but maybe the town could get one of those guns so you could multi-directional monitor that, because it's scary. I hate to be in my front yard sometimes, really fast. Okay, that's.
We've had long discussions in the last couple days about those vehicles.
Those
So,
particular
Yes.
vehicles, it's time to issue tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speeds, fine, big ones. Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
yes, we know, and we agree.
So I'm Diane Sanders. I'm going to represent One New Harmony on this one. Last month we came to you for the Firefly Festival permit. I know the trails are on the agenda tonight. You know, if the trails are not in shape to be used for the Firefly nighttime tours and for the morning run, if we need to go to a Plan B, do I need to represent our plan at the next town meeting, or how do we make sure we have everything coordinated?
They're gonna be ready,
Okay.
no problem.
Unless we have another flood.
Okay.
Yeah, unless there's some tragedy, yeah, but no, I think we're doing really good with it, and I think in 2 weeks they'll be ready.
And we do have another meeting before then, so if anything changes, we can address it at that time, for sure.
In fact, if you haven't been down, go down soon and see for yourself what stage it's in. I think you'll be encouraged.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Getting there.
Great.
All right, thank you, Diane. Anybody else? Okay, Ken?
My name's Jane Colley. I'm president of Harmony Associates. I just wanted to remind everybody that the deadline for any customized pickets at Murphy Park is the end of this month. So Carmen has farms up here. Come up here, fill out a form. It's $35 a picket. And we're going to send in our last order sometime the first week in June. So if you have anybody or you know anybody, now's the time.
Thank you, Jen. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close the open forum.
Didn't have a very big crowd, but we got a lot of talkers tonight.
A lot of good. Okay, next in the old business, golf cart registration. Is Town Marshal, you still out there?
Yep,
You want to speak to that? How we're going to proceed, or was you just finding you and?
So from this point on, it's going to be the $50.
Right.
And I'm gonna be sending letters out to everybody who has not already paid. So we've got the list as we've gone through and updated the ones that have, had cards but weren't,
Registered?
well, they weren't on the sheet.
Okay.
They were issued cart numbers and everything else, it just wasn't being tracked on the New Harmony list. So we've been updating that as we go along, and now we're gonna start sending out the letters.
Okay. All right, and to get registered, they just track you down now, or what do we, how do we?
I'll have my number on the letter when it
Okay.
goes out, and they can call, and they can either come up here or I can come to them also, since we're down to the singles.
Hey, Jonathan, I have a question for you in regard to that. There was a couple of different people who, I think you were even in the office maybe the one time, where they came in on time, they wanted to register, but their golf cart had a flat tire or a dead battery. How did you end up resolving those, where they were wanting to, but, you know, I mean, I said, well, it has to be a working vehicle to get.
So what they did was they went ahead and paid their 25,
Uh-huh.
and then I told them they wouldn't get their, the actual number until their golf cart was done and inspected. And a lot of them have come back to me after it with their golf cart fixed. We've done the inspection, then went ahead and given them their number, and we're tracking those also.
So they save the late fee by
Go ahead and
that
pay him.
communication. Oh, that's good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thanks.
All right, any questions? Thank you, Johnson, appreciate it. Okay, next, the Wi-Fi grant. Ms. Arnberg, you got an agreement you want to go over here with us?
Yes, so Nathan and Michael Guard from One New Harmony have been trying to write up a legal agreement between the town and One New Harmony for the grant that we got out of the county ARPA funds of $25,000 to get free Wi-Fi in the downtown area. When we have the big crowds with Christmas, New Harmony, and Coos Fest especially, a lot of our visitors don't get good cell signal, and a lot of the vendors have trouble getting their payments and stuff because they can't get Wi-Fi. So we've been batting this around for a while, trying to find the best way to do it, and agreed that it would be easier on our town staff for One New Harmony to administer the grant, especially since most of the businesses that will participate are our members anyway. So what we agreed on is that, and you should all have a written copy, I won't read the whole thing, but the town will, if we approve this, we'll give the money to One New Harmony, who will then give an annual accounting back to the town of how the money's been distributed. And then One New Harmony will sign an agreement with each participant saying that we will come to your home or business and install a router in a window or accessible area near the street, wire everything up, set everything up, and then we will give you what will probably equate to $40 a month or $480 a year to up your Wi-Fi signal from what generally is the starter package of about $50 a month to the highest level available, which is usually around 50 or 90 to 100. So we're basically going to pay the difference to have the stronger signal, and then you will add free New Harmony Wi-Fi as a signal from your home or business. We looked into doing a whole separate system, and it was just really expensive, and they become obsolete very quickly with technology changing so fast. So we will have an application, if this is approved, on the One New Harmony, on the Visit New Harmony website, that people can apply to be part of the program, and it will basically, we'll just prioritize by geographic disbursement of trying to cover as much space as possible. We're going to start with 12 locations, and then the money will just last as long as it lasts, depending how many people end up participating. So we'll try it for a year with like 12 locations, see how the coverage is, maybe add more locations, whatever.
Can I ask who the carrier will be, or?
Whoever the carrier is already. So each person, whether they have AT&T or Sparklight or whatever, they're just going to up their service.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So each one will technically.
Whatever they have today is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So each one will be a separate signal, but they're all going to have the same name. So as you walk, you know there's a free Wi-Fi signal available.
And just to add to that, it's not really just the vendors and stuff we're shooting. When that crowd is here, our businesses also suffer with their Wi-Fi connection and stuff as well, trying to do their transactions. So it would boost theirs, obviously, and then also help the vendors and stuff at the
Well,
programs.
take a load off the cell service too.
Yeah.
Because it'll all go Wi-Fi instead of going on cell.
Exactly. Okay, everyone's had a chance to look at the agreement. Thank you, Mr. Modlin. Can I get a motion for the agreement between the town and the Wi-Fi, and the One New Harmony on the Wi-Fi grant that we received for $25,000?
I'll make that motion because I don't own a business, so I'll make that motion.
Have a motion and a second.
I will
Any other
second.
discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you very much, Laura, Nathan, and Michael Guard, everybody that's been a part of that. Thank you for getting the grant. Man, thank you very much. Okay, next up, I guess, is the antique show and cruise in permit. This was up on the agenda last month, but we were still a little vague on the car cruise in, so we put it off to this month. It's June, antique show again for the 23rd year is June 14th and 15th. It'll take place in the Revere Gymnasium and outside on Main Street. It will include this year on Main Street some vintage cars on Saturday, filling in the holes where we don't have vendors and stuff on Saturday. The event is from 9 to 4, I'm sorry, each day, 8 to 4, I believe, each day, Saturday and Sunday. They also have the car cruise in on Sunday. We will be asking to close Tavern Street on the end, WMI end to West Street for the car cruise in on Sunday, from 9 to 2 on Sunday for the car cruise in. Also at closing Main Street from Church to Steam Mill for the antique show and cars on Saturday and Sunday. And then as we've done the last 5 years, I guess, the shindig over here at our property, my property, just closing half of the block there from the alley to Granary from just on Saturday evening from 4 to 9:30, 10 o'clock. I think I put 10 on the application. So trash and stuff. One New Harmony, or our group, is responsible for all that. So we have security as well as local police in the county are usually around at night and hanging around. Public parking everywhere. So it's pretty much the same application, except we added the cruise in, and which we tried the cruise in last year, but the weather didn't permit. You know how those guys are with those old cars. They don't want to pull them out in the rain. So that's the application for the antique show, cruise in / shindig. And the shindig is open to everybody. So, motion to approve the permit application. That is a nonprofit, One New Harmony, so there's no permit fee, and One New Harmony does have the insurance submitted to the town for events. So
I'll make that motion.
a motion. Second.
Second.
Any discussions, questions? I'll abstain from voting since I am the chair of the
I'm glad you're still doing
committee.
it.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm
You know.
gonna say it's my last year. We're gonna do
Yeah?
it for the last year.
Didn't you say that
Cindy and I are
before?
gonna, yeah, I did last year, but it's really, I promise, this year. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And one abstention. Thank you guys very much. Okay, next up we have a walkathon. Family Matters of Posey County. It's a walkathon. Participants will raise pledges and then walk 4 laps around Murphy Park. It's a name and address of sponsoring agents. Family Matters of Posey County, Indiana. Andrea Biggerstaff of Mount Vernon and Kim Still of Mount Vernon are the sponsors or organization representatives. Person responsible is Andrea Biggerstaff. The date of the event is 6/18. Start time at 6:30 a.m., end time at 7:45 a.m. So they have a small amount of participants. It says 15 to 25. So location Murphy Park. No animals to be present. Entities to benefit from it is Family Matters. Basic on-site bathrooms should be sufficient, and duration of the event due to the size and duration of the event, none should be needed as far as crowd noise and stuff, or no loudspeakers and none of that stuff. So I don't know if the Parks Board was aware of this or not. Tom, you weren't made aware. Okay. I think it was just put in last week, wasn't it, sometime? So
I move we approve.
got a motion to approve. Got a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? Questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next up would be the update to salary ordinance. And Mr. Clark, I think you've been working on that.
Actually, it's kind of misstated on the agenda. We deal with salaries for all of our hourly employees every year, starting in June. There is no change to the ordinance that we need to make this year because everything that I'm going to suggest is within the ranges that are already within the ordinance. Unless anybody else wants to, I will throw out some ideas on what I think would be appropriate. Jonathan Weber is currently at $28.50. I would suggest we take him to $29.50. That is about a 3.5% increase. Jonathan has passed one of his he's passed the water distribution. He knows that we expect him to pass the treatment, and when that happens, then I think there's going to be another raise there for him because we've made the promise when he gets those certifications, we're going to take care of him. So Terry and Christian are both at 20. I would propose taking them to 20.75. Dual is at 16. I would suggest taking him to 16.50. Robert Van Landingham is part-time employee. He is at 11. I would suggest taking him to 11:34. I think I have 33 on there, Jeff, but for his raise to be the same as dual, it's actually 11:34. Carmen also will typically get dealt with in June, but because you just started and, so no raise for you, at least at this time, so. You feel like you probably need one. After this week, you probably feel like you need
Are
one.
you using the 3.5% pretty much?
Jonathan's is 3.5, Terry and Christian is 3.8 dual, and Robert would be 3.1 percentage-wise, how it works out. That's a starting point, and if anybody else feels differently, why?
Well, you compared it when you talked to me about the inflation rate, current inflation rate.
Cost of living.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
2.4.
cost of living is 2.4%.
2.4.
Annual cost of living, and I know we all think, well, inflation, you gotta be kidding me. No, it's been around 2.5 now for the last several months. So cost of living is 2.5, so there's legitimate raises there for all of them.
And I would add,
Over a cost of
well,
living.
do we want to keep discussing, or do we want to make a motion to accept and then discuss? But I was just going to add, I know 2 of the employees got raises within the last 5 to 6 months to bring them up. And 1 had a substantial raise due to a promotion, of course. And 1 that's not even been here a year yet, so, and is getting a raise in this proposal. And Mr. Van Landingham is within a limit that we have to work in, so, but he is getting a raise, so, to work with him. So just know that some have already gotten raised within the last 6 months, and this would be additional on top of that, just so you know. It's not, I'd like to give more always myself, but
I think it's fair at this time.
I move we take our pay rates as upstated. Les.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
all right, we got a motion and a second on the proposed rates by Mr. Clark. Any other discussion, questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Next up, discussion on the town marshal pay raise, or pay. Do we want to move in the same?
Jonathan, when did you start?
Want me to walk out the room?
No,
this stuff's all public, man.
It's all public.
You started when?
September.
In September.
And he's not hourly, he is salary, so we know that, so. These go into effect
June 1st.
June 1st.
For first payroll in June.
Honestly, we didn't put you on the list. We forgot about you. So, I hate to admit it, but we did, Jonathan. Yeah, he's got a gun, watch out.
I'll go back to my office, I'll come back in 5 minutes.
No, I'd like to propose that we table his until we can have time to discuss, or, a little bit and work on it. Maybe at our special meeting, we could
Add that as
to
a
our
topic.
agenda. That
We were really copping out.
Copy.
At least we didn't hide from it.
Yeah, I apologize, Jonathan. We just,
You're good.
I guess we're just thinking about the garage down here for some reason. Is that okay with everybody? We do that?
I think it's
Okay.
appropriate.
We'll address that.
We need time to think about it and talk about
Thank
it.
you. We'll back pay if you get a raise. That's just me saying that. Okay. That's not the rest of them. I wrote a little
That's
note.
illegal.
Town marshal. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, next up, we have maturing CDs. I'm just gonna make some comments. In working with Ann, our clerk treasurer, who of course is gone right now, she's working with United Fidelity. We have, I think it's $700,000, $800 or whatever the number is. I have it up here somewhere. $780,500 maturing on 5/19. And she has till 5:30 to sign that and roll it over on what the current rate is with United Fidelity, which is 4.55% APY for 6 months. So the last one was 5.23, so they've dropped some, they've kind of balanced out for a little while here. I'm in the same bank, so I've been watching them too, but, and would like to move forward with just re-upping those, for now. And I know we're waiting on the stuff with, Baker Tilly of the finance stuff. I'd like to see us, as you all have spoken, find more money to invest with more. So at that point, there's been a lot of discussion about diversifying and going with, Indiana
Trust.
So that might be that opportunity after we meet with them to invest some more money in that. I'm a firm believer of going where the money is. United Fidelity is 4.55, Indiana Trust is 4.25. So, and it's a APR that's not guaranteed. It goes up and down. So, United is locked in. So, I think that's the way she has agreed with the bank to move forward on this. So, we're not really voting on anything, just discussing. So.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you certainly can.
So Baker Tilly will give us recommendations about future investments?
No.
No.
We'll talk about that when they get there. They said that the department which does our plan, that's not what they do. They said that we have a cash management department. If you would like to talk to them, there'll be some stuff we can talk about, but
I think they'll give us thoughts on how much money we could invest, how much more money we have available that could be invested. They won't tell us how to or where to or when to or anything. That's my understanding.
Okay.
They have a separate department that does that. That costs
Separate
more.
fee.
That costs more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a separate fee, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just wait on the meeting and then you can ask your own questions there.
Any other questions regarding the CDs or anything? You guys,
I think it's
everybody good with that? Okay.
They
Yeah,
did give us amounts of what they recommend that you maintain in reserve.
Right.
Yeah.
After
And
that,
that's a
there really
standard.
are no set regulations that say you cannot or you can. It's left up to the prudence of the clerk treasurer, really. So they can answer those
We have
questions.
just right at 1.2 million invested in CDs right now. There's another group that matures at a later date. But so I think this maturity just came through is right at $14,000 in interest that we accrued on 6 months, I believe it was at that time. So worth our time to invest more, I do believe, for sure. So, okay. The next line was town fines and ordinances. That's something in the works. I believe Ann may have put this on there. Nobody else will fess up to it. So, and she's gone, but I think it's from where we were talking about using the county's fines and fees for traffic ordinances and stuff like that. So she didn't put anything in front of us, so we're gonna move on past that and address it when she gets back. So I know we voted to do that last time, I do believe, but I don't think we did like a first or second reading or anything at that time. So that, I'm sure that's what that is addressing. Okay, next up, Tom, I
Hey,
think.
hang on a second.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, speaking of fines, hey, Jonathan, are you still there? That special meeting on June 3rd, one of the things we're going to go through is all the fines and fees for everything else. If you're in town and, if you want to listen in or chime in, you can join that if you want to.
Except for the part where we discuss your pay.
That's the part I want to
I'm just kidding. I'm
Yes,
just kidding.
definitely.
Okay.
All right.
I know you're waiting on that, and that's scheduled up for June 3rd.
Okay, all right. Rock and gravel estimate for the river trail, I guess, Tom, that
Yeah,
you?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it printed out. I'm gonna read it to you off my phone. Well, the bottom line is, to fill the huge washout that we have down there in, number 1 and number 2 gravel, and then topping it off with the 53s that we've used, last, late summer, I guess it was. The cost is about between $6,500 and $7,000, and that's really just delivery of the materials. Our guys will be doing the spreading out, and I've talked extensively with Jonathan about it, and I even got Tom Smith down there to give me his opinion, and of course, the guys from Molzer have opinions about it, and but it's less, than I thought it would be, honestly. From the looks of it, initially I was pretty freaked out about it, but for the most part, the gravel we invested in last time held up really well. I mean, the part that washed out, nothing would have held there. So I feel good about that. So I am proposing that you guys okay this estimate of gravel and rock delivery so we can get this fixed up as soon as possible.
So is that a motion to
That's
for
my
60?
motion, yeah.
Motion
No
for
more than 7,000, is that where we're going with on that?
not to exceed
Not to
what?
exceed?
That's what we've got. If we have to buy more, we'll have to buy more, but I think it's a pretty safe bet, particularly after seeing Terry's work in grooming, and it looks totally doable. Yeah.
Okay, all right. A motion to approve not to exceed $7,000 in rock and gravel for the trails.
From Molzer.
From Molzer, that's what?
Yeah, Molzer crushed stone.
From
Yeah.
Molzer. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? We're gonna get that by this weekend?
The only discussion I had is that I was actually calling about gravel for a different project today. And I talked to Molzer, and they had a product that had lime and something else in it that as you drive on it is supposed to compact.
That's what we've
Is that
been
the same
using,
stuff?
yeah, that's the
Okay.
53, it's lined, and
Okay.
it was different, it was difficult for the guys to spread, they complained about it a little bit, but I'm really pleased with how it held up, and
And this is
I think
not
it was the
relevant.
right thing, it was what they recommended at that time, and they're recommending it again.
And this won't help with approving this quote, which I'm completely behind, but the other product that I ended up finding out about in researching this one was a granite product that's a chipped granite, but it comes in like an epoxy type of situation. So maybe look worth talking to I can send you the contact for that company.
Sure. I'll check it out.
Just because it may not wash out as much, or it may still, I don't know, but it may be worth looking at.
Yeah. You know what, yeah, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't wanna hold up the repair.
No, I'm saying go ahead and do this, and then
Yeah,
maybe for the future
yeah,
research
sure,
that.
Is it
Sure.
comparable in price?
No, I'm sure it's much more expensive,
that's what I
but
thought.
hopefully it would last a little longer
Yeah.
too, so who knows?
Trial.
Yeah,
We
it's
can look
hard
at
to
it.
imagine anything would have lasted, looking at the damage that this did.
Parts
Down
of
on
it,
the
yeah,
trail
yeah.
and the
The
washouts.
parts that really got hit, but, sure.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, Tom, you're up again there with the tree removal.
Okay, so, all right, I'm maybe a little ahead of this, but I talked to Tom Guggenheim of Burr Oak a week ago about the huge tree that's fallen over the trail down behind the Athenaeum. And I don't know how many of you explored that tree, but it didn't look so bad just going over the trail, but if you looked at the rest of it, it was huge. Anyway, the key there was that Tom could do it in a set amount of time. He ended up doing it today because the weather broke for it. And I think it's completely done. Go check it out, So his estimate though, was $275 an hour. And it looked like he was gonna be under $2,000 after I talked to him this afternoon. So, due to timing, I'm considering this emergency type situation where I had to kind of take where he could fit it in to get it done expediently. And I'm asking you to kind of approve the expenditure post job done. I didn't know it was going to be today, but that's how it turned out.
So we don't have a definitive price? I mean, a definite, you don't know?
No, I don't have a definitive price. When I talked to him this afternoon, he said it was going to be up to $2,000 maximum.
Do we even, is that over the limit that we even have to have approval under the department?
Yes.
Yeah, my
That's
limit is 1,500 normally, and that's why I'm.
But.
It is
apologizing
emergency.
for
Yeah, it is an emergency.
I just say maybe we say approve no more than 500, because he's probably watching on YouTube, so he'll be hitting us for the match.
I think to keep all this above board, we just need a motion to approve not to exceed $2,000
Right.
For the project to remove that tree.
Yeah, and, I wouldn't have been able to pin him down to that until he was 3/4 of the way done this
I
afternoon.
understand that we,
Because he had no
Are you
idea.
making
that
It went much better than they thought it would go.
I move that we approve the expense of removing that tree for an amount not to exceed 2,000. And if his final bill comes in more than that, then we have to come back in and talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you much.
Who's, we talked about budgets. We need to think about this tree budget.
Well,
How much money we
Oh,
spend
yeah.
on trees every year.
Oh, yeah.
That would be part
I'm
of
glad you brought that
streets and streetscapes and trees or
Yes.
whatever.
Can I make
Indeed.
a comment about that? I wish Ann was here. I noticed when they published in the paper this year, because I'm this person now that I sat and read all the tax tables, that several of our surrounding communities have a line item in their budgets for their parks departments.
Well, we do too.
We do not.
For our Parks Department?
Not at the county level, we don't.
Oh, at the county level you're
And
talking
the
about.
county collects a line item tax, just like they do for the schools, for the library, like our WMI gets, and they have one for parks, and we don't.
What do you mean
Are
we
you
don't?
The
comparing
town
us
of
to the
New
county?
Harmony, the county collects the tax, but they're line itemed, like, so it'll say township tax, right, or county. I'll
Yeah.
send this to you guys so you can look it over. But it was something I noticed when I read through this, that like Poseyville and Mount Vernon both collected, I think it was Wadesville, they're very small letters,
Oh, I remember.
a line item tax for their parks departments.
So they levy for it, is what you're saying?
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
specific
There's a
tax
levy,
that
a
goes
local
just to
levy.
Yeah, there's a
sustain,
levy, yeah.
but we don't have that.
We
And
would
I don't
have
know if
to-
that's something Baker Tilly could speak
They
to us about.
they
but-
will, and they
Yeah.
are and they will.
Yeah, because I think that's been this ongoing discussion about how do we fund the parks department. I'm like, well, why
Well,
don't we have this?
And that's one of the things that's in the parks plan,
Yeah.
is that they establish and create a budget that reflects all the costs that go into mowing and tree planting, et cetera.
So, and I was gonna add Tom and whoever, I know Ann's not here, but this rock and gravel and the tree removal down there, all that's out of the Parks Board, or out of Parks and Trails.
Out of the trail
Of
fund.
the
Trails.
Funding, out of
Yeah.
the
The trail
just
fund has
trails.
$41,000 in it.
Aren't they one group though?
No, there's two separate,
There are two
Funds still.
separate, yeah.
but that's one of the things on our June 3rd list. We're not gonna get through all this on June 3rd, by the way.
What two separate ones? This is coming out of the trail fund.
Right.
Removal of the tree down there and then.
Yeah,
And the gravel.
Both of those are.
Yeah, right.
are out of
That
the
comes
trail.
out of the trail.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, good deal.
That
And
particular one.
the golf cart, am I not correct? The golf cart fees go into that
Right.
fund?
Trail
Right.
fund.
Into
Yeah.
the trail
Right.
fund, exactly.
Although it doesn't say that in the
And then
ordinance.
I'll make a
Which
note,
is
we
one of the
may
things I
ought
wanna
to
take
hit
Is
care of
her,
that?
June 3rd.
Okay, okay, good.
make a note that we might mention that USI owns us one owes
Be a
us
long
one,
day.
since they own that tree that fell down there. What do you think about that?
I have no opinion about that.
All right, okay, we need a motion to approve the claims. Everybody have a chance to look at the claims?
Yeah, I have one correction on reimbursement to me for the banners, for the alumni and the,
Farmers market.
Thank you, farmer's market. She is reimbursing me for tax and the town can't pay tax. So that needs to be corrected.
Did we pay tax on it?
No,
Connie did.
no, I
Oh, you
did
paid for it,
not.
though. But you paid
I
it. Yeah,
used my
gotcha.
credit card to get them,
Gotcha,
but they, I had to send them our certificate.
gotcha.
So-
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the claims minus the tax on the banners
Correct, to Color Max, yeah.
to Kelly. Mac.
Reimbursement to me.
Okay, reimbursement to Connie, okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, aye?
I
All
Aye.
opposed? All right. Motion to adjourn.
so move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned. Thank you all for coming. When does Ann get back?
Should we be back
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
30th? Very last day of the month, the 31st. I don't think it's the 30th. It's that Friday.